Hello, I'm Sue Kraus from Moosa Creek Nursery, here on a lovely sunny Friday afternoon, March 27th. Happy to be outdoors. Many of us, of course, are safe at home under the safe at home guidelines, and I just felt it would be nice, if you can't get out too much, to be able to show you a little bit about what we do at Moosa Creek Nursery. We're here surrounded by the hillsides that are still covered in the blooms of wild lilacs. It's been a great year for the lilacs, and so I thought I might show you some of the selections that we grow specifically for Southern California gardens. I think gardening is really a great way for us while we're stuck at home to be able to get out in the fresh air. It will help our mental health and our physical health. I have a 96-year-old mother, and she's been gardening all her life and still going strong out in her garden until very recently, so keep on gardening. Here are some of the lilacs that we grow here at Moosa Creek Nursery. Of course, the selections vary a great deal in height and spread, and we have many types here. So many I had a hard time choosing what to show you today, but I got just a small selection. And I'll start with the Lewis Edmonds lilac. This is a Ceanothus griseus selection that has a beautiful deep blue flower and fairly dark green glossy leaf. I love this one because it's a super fast grower, and it can get a little wild and out of hand. You can trim it back if it gets a little too out of hand. This one will get about 8 feet high, 6 to 8 feet high, and 12 feet wide. So you can imagine a beautiful shrub covered in these blue blossoms in your yard. If you have space for this, I really love this Lewis Edmonds. The next one I'm going to show you is a little bit taller and narrower. This is the Tassajara Blue. Again, a blue flower, slightly lighter colored foliage, and again a very, very fast grower. So a nice tree form Ceanothus to have in your yard. And if you thought that all lilacs are blue, I have the exception to the rule. There are quite a few exceptions, ground cover ones and tall ones. This is actually the snow flurry, Ceanothus thursiflorus snow flurry. This is another tall Ceanothus. It makes a wonderful screen, fast-growing screen if you need to block out the neighbors or something like that. Dark green leaf, covered in white flowers, can get up to 20 feet high. I've seen some spectacular specimens in yards. And so this is a white flowering. Other white flowering varieties are lower, such as the snowball. We grow that too. And then another one for that special location in your yard is the South Coast Blue. South Coast Blue was actually introduced to me by Greg Rubin of California's own Native Landscape Design. He loves this plant if he's got a tight space to fill, because this plant, although it will get 8 to 10 feet high, doesn't spread more than 5 feet. And so if you have a tight corner and need a little bright shrub in there to fit in the corner, South Coast Blue is a great option. And then down to the smallest of our lilacs. This is Centennial Lilac. It's a ground cover lilac, small, very small, dark green leaves, and this intense blue flower. This stays under a foot high, and spreads to about 5 feet. And I found it to be very hardy. It's done very well in my yard. It's taken the hot sun in the summer, and it's coped with the frost at nights in the winter. So lovely and tough, a great option for a colorful ground cover. Something interesting about the lilacs. I don't know if you know this, but these of course are called compound flowers. Each of these little tiny flowers are flowers themselves with nectar, with pollen, and the native bee, the California native bee species, can get inside the flower to access the food that they need, whereas a European honeybee would have a much harder time getting into these flowers. European honeybees do tend to outcompete our native bee species. Our native bee species are excellent pollinators, and so this provides them an excellent food source without too much competition from the European honeybees. So it's a great pollinator plant too. Maybe put it around your vegetable garden as you plant that vegetable garden. Well, I hope you're all staying safe, enjoying your gardens. Stay well and keep on gardening.